Let me get the chat going. Okay. Hey, everybody. Joe Workman here, and we got a special guest today. And hopefully, let me get the chat room going. So if there's any issues, I can see it in the chat. What amateur hour here? I can't believe we had this open before. Okay. So yeah, just a couple quick notes in the chat. If hopefully everyone is can see this, and I see we have about 60 some odd people. Hello from Australia. We got David, Paul Watts. Thank you for coming on. Today we have a special guest, and let me bring her on now. We have Elizabeth Martinez, and she is the mastermind. If you guys have been enjoying the amazing content that she's been putting out on our Instagram account, on the Weaver Space Instagram account, then she is the mastermind. Oops, she is the mastermind right there. And man, she just has been killing it, and I really love the content. Hopefully you are too. And today she had a really great idea last week, and she wanted to come on, and she wanted to rebuild a website live with Foundation 6. So what she's going to do is she's going to build out nationalgeographic.com, which obviously is a beautiful website. And yeah, I'm really excited. So Elizabeth, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself? Introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you, Joe. I'm really excited to be here. I was looking forward to this. I thought about rebuilding a website that we can all relate to. So I thought about Nat Geo because they have beautiful imagery, and I thought, well, you know, we can replicate this in using only Foundation stacks, and yeah, I'm excited to do it. I will probably run into regular problems that a lot of people can relate to. So that's what I think will be useful to everyone. I'm really happy to see everybody saying hi and hola. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Here, I will share your screen.
Great.
And then we can. There we go. So everyone should be seeing your screen now.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on the Nat Geo website for now. Okay, so everybody can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to show you very quickly the Nat Geo website, and I'm going to show you what before I do this live, I wanted to make sure I could do it. So I did it before. I finished it. I'm going to show you the finished result, and then I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm probably going to forget a lot of the things I did before, but that'll be helpful for you. And yeah, I'll start as if I hadn't done this before, right? So I'm going to show you quickly. This is the Nat Geo website today. It changes every day, so I mean, I'm just going to work with what I have today. Before I start showing you, I want to make something clear that I won't be going through like hover effects because it's going to take forever. What I really want to show is that you can do the same layout using only Foundation 6, and maybe it looks a little bit easy, but I ran into a lot of little issues that I solved. But yeah, it was a challenging one. So this is the live Nat Geo website, and yeah, this is today. Obviously, I ignored the advertisements in my project, but I'll show you what the finished project looks like. It looks pretty similar. Also, this layout, for example, is repeated throughout the site. So I just copied and pasted the first one for practical purposes. But you'll see pretty much everything. That's the Nat Geo website, and this is my website. Oh, sorry. This is my website, my finished website, and made in Rapidweaver and Stacks. I'm gonna preview it, and you'll see it's pretty much, it's close to the finished result. The one challenge that I will ignore is the exact same typography, because in this case, this is a Nat Geo typography. And as much as I stole a lot of their content, the typography wasn't that easy to steal. So I'm just gonna do it with another typography that kind of looks the same. But this is the remake, and yeah, well, it looks pretty much, it looks similar, right? We have the background with the video, and we have the slider, which is a slider, but I couldn't do the arrows, but we'll do them live. We have the fixed background here that we could see here, right? We have the travel background fixed, and I copied that. And like I said, I copied the exact same layout as before, because it's pretty much the same. It's just mirrored. And then we have this cockroach or whatever that is, a cricket maybe. And then the photo of the day, and I have the photo of the day with the text overlaid. And so yeah, I pretty much succeeded, as you can see here in my project. I'm gonna finish quickly and then start doing it. And I have the footer and that. Okay, so I'm gonna start over as if I hadn't done this before, but I did do it before, and I wanted to show you so that we can, if I get stuck, I'll probably use it as a reference. So I'm just gonna call this home for now. I already have the theme of Foundation 6 selected, and I started adding a stacks page to my project. I'm gonna call this, I'm gonna save this project just in case I lose the progress for any weird reason. So, sorry, not you. Okay. So, gonna start by here I have all my stacks, which are a lot, but here I saved only the Foundation 6 stacks, and that's what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start dropping a site styles stack. The first thing I usually do is make sure I have loaded the features, like Font Awesome. In this case, I will use Font Awesome, so I'm gonna load it. And I know in advance that this Font Awesome will have the brand icons. I'll use the brand icons at some point, so I'm going to select that option. And I'm going to add I'll add the utility classes because I use them a lot. I don't know if Joe encourages this, but it's just so much easier for me to use them all the time.
That's why they're there.
Okay. And then, yeah, I think that's it. That's the features I want. And we'll start by the fonts. I'm going to use the, what's it called again? Century Gothic. It's really far from the actual Nat Geo's font, but I don't know. I find some similarities between them. So I'm gonna add the font and I'm going to make it. I'm going to make this font to be in all of the. I noticed that the font is the same throughout the site, so I'm going to choose all of the elements here so that this font can be used throughout the site. So I'm gonna call it Century anyway, so that if I need to override something, I know which class to use. And I'm gonna start by changing the primary colors as well. So,
mind if I interject for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, so on the web font, if you selected the page wide default, and then you just select pretty much after that, the only other thing you would need to select is all the various headers. If you uncheck like P and quote and everything in that bottom row, it's essentially the same effect. Just to let you know, I just thought if it's okay, I might interject with a couple small tips and tricks here and there.
No, that's what I wanted.
Perfect.
I want you to interrupt me as much as you want.
Cool.
Okay, so great. That's a great tip. I didn't know that. So we're gonna start by changing the site styles. I'm gonna change the primary color to this yellow, which you can find out if you inspect the element. I won't do that right now because because it disappears, like it has a restriction or something. It disappears the whole page and then I have to reload it. So I'm just gonna grab it. I have this tool called Zip. If you want that, I will mention the tools I use in case you find them useful. And it's there on my toolbar, and it's pretty cool because you can use shortcuts to grab any color from your screen, not just a browser. So I'll paste that color here, and I'm just gonna select the RGB slider so I can paste the code. I'm gonna leave those as they are for now, but I might come back to them and change something later on. So I'm gonna start trying to replicate this. First, we have the menu bar, which has a white background, and we have the Nat Geo logo, subscribe and log in and search element, and the menu button, right? So I'm going to add a menu, a Rapidweaver menu. A Foundation 6 menu, and a regular menu. Okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna look and see if I changed something. Oh, right. It was a top. I did a top bar so that I could throw in both of these. I mean, you don't have to do that, but I don't know why I thought it would be easier that way. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a top bar. And inside, I'm going to drop my menu on the right side. Maybe it was just so that I could. I mean, you could do that in the menu item as well, but I wanted to align the logo to the left and the menu to the right. And that's an easy way I did it. I don't know if that would be the best way.
That's exactly what top bar is for, is to have things on both sides. That's exactly what it's for. So, yep, good job.
Awesome. All right, so we have an SVG. I have already that. Oh, no, I don't. Hold on. I saved all of the sources that I'm going to be using.
Maybe just copy from the other project that you had.
Right, thank you. I'll do that. So in case you don't know how to use an SVG, it's really easy, especially if you're stealing it from from a website, because I'll do this in another tab just to make sure, because when I reload this, I'm afraid some of the pictures that I'm going to use will disappear. So basically all of the SVGs on a site, you can right click on it and then inspect it, and you'll find the element in the inspector. See, icon SVG here. Oh, that's an image. Well, I can't remember how.
It's a URL to an SVG file, yeah.
There's a URL, and you can copy that SVG or tell this to reveal in sources panel, and then you'll see the SVG, and you just drag and drop wherever you want. I usually do it in my downloads folder, which I keep with a lot of stuff, and then open that in a text editor, copy the whole code and paste it right here.
One thing, when you do copy and paste from an external SVG file like that, there's going to be a tag probably at the very top that's like an XML tag. Like if you were to open up the SVG inside of a text editor, you'll notice that it has an extra XML tag at the very top. And that's exported by a lot of, like, even Illustrator and Sketch or many other apps. Illustrator apps will do that. So you'll want to make sure that you only do the SVG tag. Anything before that you can delete. Yeah,
you can delete everything before this tag. So
correct.
The tags always start with these brackets and then with this bracket.
Yep.
So that's the code. I just copied and pasted, and then I'm going to align it to the left because it was aligned to the center. And for now, I'm going to give it a max width. I'm going to check how much I gave it, of 120. I already calculated that before. So 120, I probably checked here. Oh, I have a tool called a measure stuff. I'm not sure if it exists yet, but it's a Google Chrome extension, and when I click on it, I can measure anything. So I can set the origin here, for example, with the letter O, and they will tell me about how big it is. It's 108 pixels exactly, but I'm gonna go for the 120. And I'm going to start dropping these menu items. 1, 2, 3, 4 menu items. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have the menu items are subscribe. This one is not there anymore. It was before. I don't know why. And then we have these font awesome icons. So I'm going to write down subscribe. And then user, and then it's not showing because I think I'm supposed to
have the light icons.
The light type. Yeah, I'm using font awesome light. So I have to turn that on here, the light icons. Okay, and that'll show me the right ones. I looked those up in Font Awesome. And then I have, this is called menu, and it also has a Font Awesome icon. I think it's I'm gonna check. Okay. Am I confusing anyone, or is everybody following me good?
Nope, I think you're doing good.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you.
One quick note, someone pointed out, is your laptop plugged in? Don't want to run out of battery.
What?
You're on a laptop?
Yeah, thanks. I'll make sure I plug it in right right before I run out of battery. Thank you. So, oh, so I want to align this to the right. No, sorry, not here. Text alignment to the right. Let's see how that looks. I know that it's not going to be the right way to show, but okay. So we have that gray background that has to be white, and we have the subscribe. It's working out okay with that font, right? I think we just have to color this. So I'm going to use a menu style, and I think I need the top bar style to remove the
That gray background, yeah.
gray background. You've heard a lot about it, huh?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. There we go. So that's just to remove the gray. And here I'm not going to go into the mobile version. I'm just going to work on the desktop version because it would take forever. So I want the links to be black, and that's the hex code for black. And I want the active links to be black as well. And the caret, I mean, I'm not going to use the caret, but oops. But in case we, okay, so that should look a little bit better now. Oh, no.
You forgot to put the classes.
Oh, duh, yeah, thank you. So I'm going to name this class my top bar, and this one my menu. So the top bar, I'll use my top bar on both here so that the gray disappears, and here I'm going to use my menu, and there we go.
Boom.
Boom. So the font is a little smaller. I'm going to get into that later, or it's just going to take forever. And this has a bold. I decided at the end to make a font. Where is it? Font color? No, font. Text color. No, wait. How do I add oh, hold on. I'll just look what I did before. Sorry.
Can you click the hide button on that bottom toolbar that's at the bottom of your screen that says stop sharing? Can you click that hide button?
Yeah, I did, but it did something weird.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Cool. No problem.
I did it before, but I thought that it disappeared, but I guess it didn't. Oh, fonts. Duh. Okay, sorry. So we
Sorry,
go.
threw you off.
I'm gonna add a font style and call it bold 1. I usually don't just call it bold in case any built-in foundation is using it. So bold 1 and the weight, and I'm just going to click on this so that the item that I choose can be bold and not the others, like the menu, like that menu. Oh, it didn't do it.
You might want to make sure you uncheck the font size because you only want bold to be. So
right.
Yes, you want the size to be the same. You just want it to be bold.
It didn't work either. Hold on. I think I have the weight here. Yeah. There we go. So just add the weight. Okay. click on the bold and then make sure it's not 400 because 400 is the default weight. So I just added it on to 800.
Correct.
So after the top bar, we have latest stories, and it's a black background. So we're going to be using the alt colors here. So I'm going to drop in a container first. And just before I start using this container, I'm going to add another swatch that I usually add in all my projects with a padding setting. And that will help me, instead of using a class here, so instead of renaming this class to whatever I want, I'm going to choose this element button, and I can choose, I'm going to choose a CSS, and change that to section. I use this a lot. It's just so much easier to add the exact same amount of top and bottom padding to every container that is that has the HTML tag as a section. So you'll see that in a second when I finish editing this swatch. I'm gonna go and
really quick. One danger with doing that is if, let's say, I release a stack that uses a section tag.
Yes.
Or someone else has a stack that has a section tag in there. Maybe they're dividing something into sections. It could give you unwanted results. So potentially, if you wanted to use the element selector, there is a container in there. So then you can apply that to all containers, right?
Right.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it to all containers because a lot of the containers don't. I override the.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm gonna use it, but you have that big warning from me, Joe. So
one more thing, I actually looked it up before I said anything because I didn't want to be wrong. For the bold, you said you love utility classes, right? Well, there is a font-bold utility class.
Yes, I thought about that. And I just thought it would be easier for everybody.
Cool.
But
no problem. I just trying to help out.
No, it's great. It's so it's font-bold, right?
Yes, font-bold.
Like that. Oh,
yep.
Yeah, you're right. So if you wanted to control the bold, then you could use those utility classes or a
swatch.
A swatch, yeah.
Perfect.
Great.
I'll stop bothering you now.
No, don't. Really. So I'm gonna use this container and change it to section, and you'll see that whatever I applied in the swatch is going to change that container and give me that vertical padding, which, by the way, I also sometimes use. Like if I don't have that padding, I use the padding top and then whatever value I want, which, by the way, the values have to be multiples of 8 in my experience, right? And so padding top or padding bottom, or what I do sometimes is padding Y, which will give me the exact same result. It's a matter of taste and how you are most comfortable with, right? You can use a section or you can use a padding, and the result will be the same. For example, if I wanted to have a black background color, I can do it right away with the utility classes without the need to add a black swatch, right? So that's what I love about the utility classes, and that's what I actually use all the time. And then I want all of the contents to have an alt inside of my container. No, I'm lying. No, because this one it has to be with a white background. So I'm going to have to add the alt in each. Is there a way, Joe, to if I have this element inside of a container that says alt Is there a way to like override that alt class or not really?
You'd have to create another class that counteracts the alt, essentially. Another thing you could do is, I mean, it looks like a lot of times most of this web page is white text, right?
Most of it.
One strategy that you could do is flip it. Make your default text white, your default background black, and then change it so your alt text is white or black on white. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't always have to use alt. Doesn't have to be white on black. You can swap that, right?
Right.
So in site styles, you could just go ahead and change all of those to be, the opposite. And then that way, your default for everything is white on black, but then only when you want to have those accents, which is the black on white, then you set that to be the alt. Does that make sense?
That would be easier actually. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I don't know what you prefer right now, you guys. Should I just continue, or do you want me to switch? What would be easier for? Can you tell me, Joe? I can't see the.
No, I'm watching the chat. I mean, everyone's loving it, but I think you can do either way. I mean, I think it might be a little easier, less work to do it the way I suggested for right now, instead of having to try to add alt to everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
It's up to you, though.
Yeah, no, I'll do it that way then.
Okay.
So we.
No, so it'd be your text colors, inside site styles. No, inside site styles.
Oh.
Yep. Scroll down.
Oh, text.
There you go. So you see, so instead of that would be white instead of dark gray, right? Exactly. Okay. And then, yep.
And then this.
And then that one would be black or 222 or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, that works. Okay.
And then you want to change the text as well, right? So your text color. So you change the header, but text right below it. Yeah, there you go.
Same thing. Yeah, that should make it easier.
Yeah.
To work with. Okay. So thank you, Joe.
No problem. One thing I just noticed by doing that, I've never actually tested this out. If you notice, it makes all the text inside site styles white.
Yeah,
I think I should maybe in my next update, what I'll do is I'll make sure that that's always black, so that I think that would be smart.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Also, like for example, these are H6. I know that now.
Yeah.
And if I change it, it will display differently as well.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna center. I'm gonna use an H3 for now and see how that looks. And center the text, and we have latest stories. And we can use the utility class font bold, and it looks a little bit more like their text. And then we have a text that will center and replace. So what I did to have that underlined, I used another swatch for a border, and I called it. I'm gonna change it here for the yellow. I'm gonna copy the yellow again. So border color simple, and I'm going to paste the yellow. Oh, it didn't. Sorry. Hold on. There. So my border is yellow now, and I'm just going to change the size to detailed and only use the bottom, like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 pixels, whatever works for you, and only the bottom. So this is what I did, but I'm not sure. So I'm gonna call this under yellow, and inside the text, this is a little hack, like an HTML code that you can use. So if I add this class of span, this is how you open and close a tag. So this word is between a span, an opening tag, and a span closing tag now. So that means that word will have maybe another class, or maybe it's just different from the rest of the text. So right now I'm going to add a class. So right after the span word, I put a space and then class equals, and then name it my class. So under, I forgot the quote under yellow, and then I close my quote, and then I close that tag. And this stays the same because this is just telling the HTML to end that that span. So you probably won't see it on edit mode or preview. Sorry.
Oh, that's weird. What happened?
Yeah, that's weird because it worked on this one. Maybe I used maybe there's something wrong with my text. Span class under yellow span.
No, that looks correct.
It looked that there. It looks correct. Maybe here. Huh.
Looks like you're. Go to the swatch.
Sorry.
Go to the swatch, the border swatch. So you have size.
Oh, I forgot the border
style.
Solid.
Yeah, style. So make it solid.
Yeah. So that should work. Yeah.
There we go. Boom. By the way, this isn't a hack. That is exactly how you should do it.
Oh, okay, great. And then I found for that divider, I'm gonna use the exact same way to do it, but I also did it. I did it both ways. So whatever is simpler for you, you can do a divider with the same class, and the divider will convert to that color. Oh, sorry. So the divider will be yellow, but you would have to set it inside a one column and then make that column really small, right?
Or you can use a utility class on the divider.
How?
Just add a with utility class on the divider.
Oh, right. You can do that too.
So just W colon, I don't know how 48. I don't know how big do you want it?
Okay.
I think that should work.
Would that work? Yeah, it does. Okay.
It does. Boom.
So yeah, you can do that. Put the divider, and then use a utility class. And if you're not a fan of the utility classes, you can just put a space bar here. I'm gonna do that with just a space bar, and you can't really tell. I'm gonna bring it outside, but you can, even if I hit space and there's a space, it says click here to add content. So it doesn't recognize it as a content. But if you keep the Alt button on your keyboard and then space, it does recognize it as content. And yeah.
Now that's a hack. I didn't even know that. That is very clever. I learned something new today.
Great. So, and then if we add that class, it will only. Oh, sorry. Well, we would actually have to use the span thing again, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's the same thing. Even though I can use a spacebar here, it won't recognize it. So I'm gonna click Alt in my keyboard, and that should give me the exact. Yeah.
Wow. Like, look at that.
Look at that.
I never would have thought of that. That is pretty clever. Props on that. Interesting.
So there's the two ways of doing it. You can do whatever is more comfortable for you will work.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yes. So we have that, and then we have 2 columns. Does anybody have questions, Joe?
No, I've been kind of answering them as they go along.
Great. So I always add the margin right away because then I forget to do it. But yeah, I use 2 columns and then a header and then a 1 column. I'll tell you why I am using that 1 column. But yeah, and then the 2 columns here. So the 2 columns, if you can see, they're not divided exactly 50-50. So I came up with 8 and 4. So that's what we're gonna do here. In medium and large devices, this should the first column should be 33% or 4 units out of the 8, and the second column should be 8, or you can leave it in auto and it will also work. And then we have a header, and but that header is aligned to the left, and I'm going to add this. I hope you know this symbol. I don't know what to call it, but I'm going to use a span again to color that little, to replicate this here. Okay. Oh, but not this. Not under yellow, but I'm gonna use a span, but I'm going to not underline it, but I'm going to make a. Oh, actually, if I use, will that work? No. Can I use color primary? Yes. Yes. There we go.
Yep.
There we go. So yeah, we can replicate it.
Clever.
I'm not sure how I. Hold on.
That's a utility class, everyone. She just set the primary color to be of that pipe to be the yellow, which is the primary color.
And just because it's not doing what I want to that symbol, I'm gonna try to use this class and see if that works. No. All right. Well, I can't remember how I did that with. I'll let you know soon. So we have latest stories, and we have today's picks. So we just named that today's picks, and we have that 2-column stack. And here's another trick I learned doing this one. That you have 2 columns, and then I thought, well, I have a photo, and then I have this text. That's what I did at first. I'm going to delete this later, but I'm going to show you why. So I have a photo, and it's also divided, right? I mean, it's also not 50-50. It's also 4 and 8, the same as the big one. So I'm going to do that first. Add a margin and tell it. Actually, I'm going to do this in the small devices as well. 8 and 8. Okay.
Just really quick, if you set 4 and 8 on small and then set medium large to be inherit, which is the default values for those, it'll just be 4 and 8 on everything. So small, you would set it to 8. And then on the others, you'd set on medium and large, you'd set it to inherit. So what that does is it'll inherit from whatever is above it, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it inherits from what's above it. Okay, great. Thank you. So So here too?
Yeah, you could do that there too.
Okay, great. It's easier, right? You can just
Yeah.
change it in the small. So we have a picture, and I'm going to grab that. Oh, where did I? Sorry, I don't know where I put it in the. Here. I have this coronavirus photo, and I'll drop it. And what I noticed is that this is the photo I extracted from their website. And if you notice, it's not square. So I'll show you what I did there. But first, I'm going to just copy this text and change it to the left, and then do COVID-19 updates on the coronavirus pandemic. So we have that, and I'm going to set this to have 6 hashtags, which means it will be an H6 tag. Okay, that's what it means. And in the photo, if I preview this, if anybody has obsessive compulsive disorder, I'm gonna get my charger before you go crazy.
So anyway, this while she's getting her charger, this is exciting. Do you guys liking this? I mean, I love the interaction on the chat room, and yeah, I kind of like this. Enjoying kind of watching someone else work, and then I can kind of inject a little bit and give how I intended for things to be done. And hell, even I learned some things. Right, I didn't even think about doing the alt space thing. That was pretty clever. So yeah, very very clever there. I like that. And I'm loving this. And thank you for all the interaction. Keep the questions going. And I see Elizabeth is back, and we'll go back to her because she's more important than me anyway.
No. Okay. So the way I did this square, I thought, well, darn it, I'm just gonna have to edit all my photos, right? And just change them to square. But no, I found a workaround. I can't even remember where I found it, but I'm pretty sure I looked it up and found it. So I'm going to use a container with the background image. I'm going to add a swatch for a background image here and call it today's pics 01, so that I remember what it is. Today's like TP01, and drop in an image, and I'm gonna drop that image there. And this is pretty interesting, I thought. There's my container. I'm gonna call it, well, before I name it, no, I am. So there it is, right? And what I found is that if you add another swatch for, what? Oh, I forgot right now. So, sorry, hold on. There. Oh, Patty.
Ah, you're clever. Nice. I was wondering if that's what you were going to be doing. Very good.
So I'm going to use this and call it background pad so that I remember. And then go on detail. And it's a percent unit, and only the top, I'm going to make it 100. And that will make whatever I add. Oh, sorry. Did it?
That's correct.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So if I add this class here, it will make it square. So I remove this picture and drop in this container here. And even though in preview it looks funny, it should look good. I mean, on edit, it looks funny, it should look good here. Yeah, cool, right?
So if you're curious, so what padding? So when you add an image to a background, all right, that image is no longer it's not it's not influencing the size of the container, right? Okay, so if it's not influencing the size of the container, that container now has no content. So like if you before you added that padding, if you were to preview it, that container you wouldn't be able to see it. It would be nothing, right? You couldn't see the background image because that container has no content to it.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you set it to be a padding of 100%, whenever you add a percentage padding, it's always based on the percentage of the width. Okay. So if you add a padding top of 100%, it's going to make the padding on the top the same as the width. So that is one way to get a perfect square. And then because that padding affects the content, you get to see the background image, right? So that's how we're able to see the background image. And background images, by default, it will scale as you have it, and it'll cut off the sides, and it will center it by default. So that is the perfect way to accomplish what you wanted. I am highly impressed. Good job.
Yay. Okay. So I'm going to add a little padding on top. So PT is short for padding top, and add no, not here. Sorry, I wanted it here. Because if you notice, it's a little bit too close to the header. Oh, here. Right. Oh, by the way, this should be an H1 and this should be an H5-ish or something, but I'll get into that in a second. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm gonna add some padding top to the two columns. Here, 32. Like I said, it's always supposed to be multiples of 8, and then copy and paste, but without the padding now. That should look good. Oh, no, I do need a padding, but maybe less. Does that look good? No, more. Sorry, there, that looks better. Yeah. All right. So, before I get into details about like changing all these images, I'm gonna continue because I'm gonna run out of time soon. Well, I don't know how much time we have.
We'll go until you're done, or until you get tired of it. I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I don't think anyone else minds.
Okay, great. That's great. So I'm gonna leave it as it is right now, and I'll change. I'll go back to it later. Okay, but you get the idea, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm gonna add one more, and we're good to go. There. And now I'm going to get this one done. So we have a background and then some content. So I'm going to use another container here with background 1. So I'm going to add a swatch called BG1. That's what I call all my backgrounds usually, unless I have too many. But and we have that. Oh, sorry, hold on. I'm just gonna. Here it is. We have that image. So we'll use that class here to have that image. And as Joe said, if I preview this, nothing will show up because there's no content on the background on the container. So I'm going to add that content right now, and I'm going to add a header. It looks like there's two headers. Yeah, I would say there's three headers. This one is an H6, and this one too. And that one, we'll leave it as 3 right now. So how U.S. Vice President when... Just gonna try to write it fast. I usually use the break tag if I want the content to break, because otherwise it won't do it. So I'm going to show you. Oh. So from irrelevant to influential is my second line, and if I remove that break tag, it won't show that, you know, went from. So it won't break, and I want it to break just so that we look just very similar to the original website. So I'm going to make this bold, and I'm going to write history on here. And then we have a hamburger, font awesome. I have them here in my snippets. I think it's called hamburger. Oh no. Menu? No, I can't remember what it's called. I mean,
yeah, here, let me find. I'll find it.
I have it. I think I have it here.
Funny hamburger, and it shows you a hamburger.
Yes, it is. Oh, bars, just
bars.
Oh, and it's the light. So bars will make
an
this
FAL. Oh, or you have.
It's a light version of the
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna use the L.
There you go.
So right now it will only occupy the height of the content. And what I'm going to do to give it a different height is I'm going to use a 1-column stack. Is that okay, Joe?
Yep.
And drop all of these inside the 1 column. And then the 1 column, I usually like to use the utility classes, and then you use height. And here you can use like 48 or whatever value you want, but I like to use like 50 VH, which means 50% of your browser height. That works better in this case, because if we use a if you notice, the width of the site is a little bit narrower than my width. So I will change that in the site styles. I'm going to check how big I made it here. So 1020 1020 is my width, and here the default width is 1200. So that'll make it a little bit better. See?
Oh, so, much nicer.
Yes, much nicer now. This will go for a little bit higher. Sorry. In the value. Oh, it's 60 VH is what I used. So that means 60% of the browser height is what this column will measure.
If you're curious, VH stands for viewport height. So that's what VH stands for. So the viewport height.
I didn't know that. I thought it was a nerdy thing. Okay, so I'm just going to align the content to the bottom now. And there we go. And now I'm going to use an overlay, because I think, no, I won't. They're not using overlay, so I won't.
Awesome.
They are using bold in all of them though. So I'm going to do that. It should look better. Yeah. Okay. So we have that one, and now we can have 2-column again, and that 2-column will be 50-50 this time. If you want to control the way your columns will look on mobile, for example, if you want the order of the columns to be different, I'm using the 2 columns just so that everybody can relate to this, but I would recommend to use Columns Pro so that you can have more control over what column to show first on mobile and what column to show second later. You can't do that with a 2-column stack, but you can.
Correct, you cannot.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna add the padding. No, the margin. And I'm going to add, now I will add a picture, because here a picture for the elephant. And then this, World Elephant Day, and then, well, it's pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much the same as here. So I'm gonna copy this. Oh, I don't know why there's 2 pictures in there, but. What was the thing? Oh, right. So in these 3 stacks, I'm going to use the alt text now, right?
Correct.
Because they are black against white. And I'm going to use a container too. Oh, actually.
Or actually, just put the alt on the container.
Yeah, I'll put the alt on the container. It's easier. So I will add a container. Sorry about this. Keeps moving around when I open one or the other.
One thing you could do is if you set your stacks library to be popover mode instead of the panel, that could help when you're on small screens.
The what? Sorry?
So on the bottom of the stacks library, see there's a popover button on the bottom toolbar? Click on that. Okay. So now if you click out of it, it'll just close, right?
Oh,
it
okay.
should. And then if you click on the library again.
Thank you. A lot of weight from my shoulders from 5 years back just disappeared. So I'm going to make this container have a white background by setting this background white and the content to alt. And drop in the elephant picture, which should be around here.
And you use the BG white utility class, right? To make it white? I missed that. Cool.
Yes. Yes, that overrides the background black.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the live stream, our videos are covering the class setting, so people can't see that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's not your fault. I can't move those. I don't have control over that. So sorry for everyone that's watching.
I'll read it out loud. Oh, here it is. Right? Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it doesn't really matter, but. Okay. So this does not have the bold, and that one does, and that's smaller. And oh, I'm going to drag the picture out of the container so that
it goes full width.
Yeah, it goes full width. There we go.
Yep.
See, I knew that. Okay,
You were
and
testing me.
use the padding. What?
You were testing me.
Yeah. So I'm going to use PY, which is padding Y. So you can have padding top or PT, padding top, PL, padding left. PY is P top and bottom. PX would be padding left and right. So I'm using PY colon 16. And to give a little space, there we go, in between. And I'm going to change that header to an H4 or H3 or H5, I don't know, H5 I guess, and remove the bold from this one. I just removed the bold class from that one, and go walking with an elephant herd. Who wants to go walking with an elephant herd? I do. Okay. Oh. Okay. I think I added a little. So there, it's done. Right? Does that look good to you guys? We're gonna change that anyway. We're gonna change the color of the. Sorry, am I still live? Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, you're still live.
Sorry. Okay, and we have that. So what I noticed is that I'm going to go ahead in what I did before. And I thought that this was a photo that would cut at the guy's tie, but no, it goes all the way down here, and the button is on top of that photo, and the photo goes all the way to the. So that would not be a picture; that would be a container. So I'm going to add a container. Oh, here. And well, yeah, I'm going to add the class of background or BG2, even though it doesn't exist yet. And I'm going to add a swatch called BG2, and add an image there. The image of that guy here. So we have the container, and I'm going to drop in a one column stack again so that we can give it the height. And I'm going to use H colon. I'm going to check what I had before. 60. So H colon 60 VH. And drop in a button or a link, whatever you're going to use. Oh.
Oops.
Sorry.
Where'd it go?
Okay. And then the button, I will center it. It automatically is yellow, but the text color is white now. I wonder if no. Well, I'll check what I have to do.
You might want to set the primary text color and site styles to be black instead of white. You change the primary color, but there's a corresponding color. So instead of white, you change that to be black.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you. There we go. So that button is register, and bold, I guess, and just align the content of the column to the bottom, and let's see how that looks. There. So I'm just going to add a little padding to the 2-column stack. Pad PB colon 32. Oh, PB, no, not PB, sorry, PT. There. There, it looks pretty much the same, right? Should I go in? Does everybody have more time, or?
Yeah, maybe if you want, maybe start like maybe take some of your the layouts that you've maybe pre-done in the other project and maybe just copy them over and maybe explain instead of building them from scratch. Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that so that we can go faster. So, oh, but I'm not sure I'm using the same classes. I'll just go over this project and explain what I did.
Sure.
Okay. So as you can see, I have the same, up to here, we're all set, right? We know what I did. I changed all the pictures, I changed and then I used impact for the video. I'm not sure if you can use anything else outside of just with Foundation 6 stacks, Joe?
No, it doesn't have any background video stuff like Impact does. So okay. Impact would have been a great solution there, yeah.
Okay, so inside the impact, I placed a container that sets the alt. In this case, I don't have the alt switched around. So this container tells that all of the content will have an alt setting. And so I have a header and then another header with a little bit of padding to the top, and then a text, and then a header. And again, if I, for example, in this one, dive into SharkFest, if we look in the original site, dive into SharkFest is underlined in yellow. And if I add the class under yellow class, I'm adding it right now. And if I hit enter, it will just apply it to the whole header. So what I did is use another span and just put everything inside of the span content. Okay, I did the same thing as before, and yeah, the impact is set to use a full screen hero header. And if you click here, you can add an impact video slide. And the video, I told it to play. I found the link to the NetGeo website and told it to play that MP4 video. And then it's set to autoplay and mute and loop the video so that it doesn't stop playing all the time. I didn't need to add an overlay or anything. In this case, it worked the way it is right now, and we can see it live here. So did I? It looks like I'm using an overlay, but maybe the video already has it.
Yeah, the video probably already has an overlay on it. Yeah, that's what I would expect.
Yeah, me too, but I'm just gonna check.
Maybe on the main. Is it in the main impact stack? I forget if the overlay. It's possible the main impact stack has an overlay.
Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. So I used an overlay. yeah, if I remove it, it's gonna the text will end up lost with
Yeah.
the video.
The overlay is a really great effect. It makes your text or your content that's on top of the video or image really pop. But you get another benefit of the overlay. It's crazy how tricks play with the mind, or these sort of tricks play with the mind. You can, if you use an overlay, you can get away with a much smaller, lower resolution video, and
Definitely.
you won't notice it if you have an overlay. It's crazy. I really don't understand it, but it plays tricks with your eyes or something, because you can get away with a really low quality video file here, and when you add an overlay, you just don't notice it. It's pretty crazy. And obviously, a lower quality video file will be smaller and load faster, right? So that's a good benefit.
Yes. True. I noticed that too. I noticed that you can have a low quality video. It's great. Um, this is I am using for the slider. I'm using Moving Box. So I added another swatch instance here because I had been using a lot of background swatches, as you can see, here, there. So I was using a lot. So I wanted to divide it and have it close by because I was going to be editing a lot.
Yes, that's exactly why I created that swatches stack, so that you don't need to constantly scroll all the way up to site styles and then scroll all the way down, because now these styles that are specific to this one section, you're not using these styles for any other section. They can live in that section now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And if I want to copy this section into another project, then the swatches go with me.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's just try to make sure to use a name that that you won't use again.
Yep.
And then I have the two columns. This header is aligned to the left. This header is aligned to the right. And I use the span instance again to only underline the C shows text. And inside the moving box, whatever you start dropping in will count as a slide. So this container with this picture inside counts as a slide. Why is there a container with a background and a picture? Well, that's because that's the way it is set up in their website. They have a background and a picture. And the reason why they did this, I think it's cool. It's because when you hover, only the background gets a little bit bigger.
Yep.
And the title remains the same. We won't see that here, but if you wanted to do that, it's easy to do it as well with Rapidweaver. But for now, I have a container with a picture inside, and automatically they're already aligned to the background. I didn't have to do anything to it. I didn't have to align it anywhere. I just dropped it in, and the PNGs are already saved with the same height as the background, and the titles are already placed where they need to be placed.
Yep.
So this is for the slider. I didn't finish the slider, and I don't know why. I think I forgot how to use moving box. But I can't see the arrows.
Yeah, there's settings that you can turn on the navigation arrows.
Show navigation arrows, and I set them to the outside edge and the arrow to be white. But I can't see them.
Not sure. We can look at that later.
Okay, so I'm going to keep going. And so that's what I use for the slider. But you can replicate that effect where you click here and 5 slides move at the same time. You can replicate that with moving box. I was going to do it, but I didn't finish that part because I couldn't see the arrows this time. And then the next one is this travel container that has a background with an overlay. And then this layout, which pretty much looks the same as the first one, but it's mirrored, right? So this one is 8 and 4 instead of 4 and 8 in size. So I won't go through how to switch that around because it's pretty straightforward, I think. So I would just copy the exact same content as I had on the top and dropped it here after a header and a divider. And as per the container, it's only using a background swatch, which is called BG9. And if you look at that BG9 in my background, the only thing that is different is that the behavior in this behavior section, I have fixed clicked selected, so that makes the image stick and the content move on top of it. Okay.
Just one quick side note. If you notice, I like that. I find a lot of sites, they tend to like, if they want to use a fixed background, like every section on the page is fixed, right? And I think maybe like in this particular example, like just this one section is, right? So it's like, it makes it a little bit different. It's not like, it's not overdone because it's, doing it on every section on the site. So just, I think that's a nice touch from National Geographic where, they're not doing it everywhere, right?
Yeah,
and also I do have to say fixed backgrounds actually, especially on mobile, I think they actually do work now on mobile, but they use up a lot of resources as well. So that's why Apple resisted having fixed backgrounds on iOS for so long, because for some reason it's very memory intensive.
True.
It seems odd, but I don't know the reasons behind that, but that is a reason.
I didn't know that, but but it's true that a lot of sites overdo it. This is already using, even if it's not a fixed background, it has movement already. So there's no need to overdo these. So, and the next one, the next sections are really, really simple. I'm so glad I did this before so that I can show you very quickly instead of small. I have another container with a 1-column stack to set the height again, and I'm also using a utility class with h:70vh again. So I'm telling it to use 70% of the viewport height. And then I have the header and a text, and they're all with alt classes, and only the text has a padding of 32. The next one is a container that I made it into a section, and then you have photo of the day. It's the header, and then a text with a padding on top, and then another text with that trick I showed you to underline it. And we have this image that they use here. They have content on top and on the bottom. So to do that, I set the container. Sorry, I set the column. Oh, why am I using 2 containers? Oh, right. I know why I'm using 2 containers. I think so. If I only used the container with a background image and leave it without a container, it would go full width for some reason.
Correct.
But the container, no, for some reason, I know why. It goes full width with if I set this container to have a background image, the background image would go full width, just like I wanted it to have to go on this one, right? The travel section. But on this one, they have they have it inside their site width. So I just dropped in the container inside the container, and that did it. And this container has the background image, and then the 1-column stack that gives it the height. And then this text at the bottom is just right after the one column. That text at the bottom is not specially aligned or anything. It's just thrown in there right after the one column. The one column will give this container the height along with the text that is below it. So I only made sure that the content inside the one column stack is vertically aligned to the top. And that's what did it. That's how I did the big photo with content on the top and content on the bottom.
So you made that one column that's inside there 90% height, right? Or 90 VH. So that gave it the height. And then you made the text alignment top, so which made that date go on the top. But then since the other one was below the one column, it went below the 90 VH. So basically, yeah, it's very clever. It's a perfect way of doing that. Good job.
Thank you. Yes, it's 90 VH. So then the next section is another container with a black background that I set with the utility classes. And then we have a text and a header, and then another text, and then the divider. And then again, the exact same content as before, because what we have right after the photo of the day is the same
layout
again. So I left it just like that. I just copied and pasted the exact same one just for visual purposes. And then we have this container with a header and a divider and then two columns. And the two columns are set to have the vertical aligned to the middle. And then the first column, the two columns are also 7:5. That's the proportion. It's not 8:4. It's 7:5 this time. And in small devices, I left it in 12. And we have a text, a link. And for this link, I made another swatch because my buttons are by default. If I add a link here, you'll see what I did with that button. By default, they are yellow. Oh, I'm making a mess, sorry. By default, it is yellow, and if I tell it to be hollow, it will be yellow as well. So to change that, I added a new class and called it black button. So a new swatch and call it black button and just set the font color to be black. I think it's a font style swatch.
Yep. And the border, you probably set border to be black as well, I assume.
No, that did it.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess that makes sense, yeah.
I thought I would have to as well, but no. I just changed.
I guess you just set, it was just a color swatch. Oh, you just set black font color?
No, that's not the one, I think.
That's not the one.
No. Which one is it? I wonder if, no. Oh, did I add another one right there? Another swatch instance? Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is. It's component. Oh, and then you set primary to be black. Yes. That makes perfect sense.
Yes. So because, that's what
you're changing the primary color to be black instead of yellow there. Exactly. Another thing you could potentially do is like there is a secondary color scheme and other, so like if you wanted to set the maybe the secondary color scheme to be black, I don't know, because you don't seem to be using the secondary color scheme anywhere. So if you were to set that to be black, then in your link button you could just set that to use the secondary color. That's an idea. But that is a great way of doing it as well. It's a perfect example of using the component colors because you just wanted to swap that yellow in this particular section to be black instead. Perfect.
Exactly. Yes. Great. So that's what I did there. And then we have another container with a background image using a swatch, a P a padding, vertical padding, so PY:32, and then I have the overlay class to display this text better. I was trying to make this the same height, and I couldn't do it, but you can see that.
Were you using an inline form?
No, just, I should have used.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So what you want to do is, you have a form stack, and then inside the forms, I
didn't even have a form stack. I just threw it.
Yeah, that won't do anything if it's not in a form stack. So then, there's this stack called, was it inline groups? Something like that. Actually, there's a template. Do you have my Foundation 6 templates installed? I have an inline form template. You could probably just use that really quick.
I think I do.
The red one.
I never use these. You can tell.
Just search for inline. I'm pretty sure it says inline.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscription form. Yeah.
Yep. Just plop that in there. It actually already has a form in there, so you probably didn't need to put it inside the form, or else you actually have problems because you can't have a form inside of a form.
Right. Just drop it here.
And then just unpack that. And then you'll see, there we go. And we have an inline group. Now, that has a submit inside the button, but you could change that to be your little arrow, and it's done.
Awesome. So I'm going to use the font awesome here. I think it's called arrow right.
Right, arrow right. Arrow dash right. Yeah. So preview that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, delete the other one.
Yay!
Boom.
It worked. Awesome. So yeah, you can pretty much do anything with Foundation stacks. I love it. So we have the exact same layout here. That was the only challenging part, which was not challenging at all after the templates. And then there's a 4-column stack with a white text, and then I have a special class to make the text a little smaller. And
I'm curious, did you use text for those, or did you use a menu?
I just used the text for this.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It would take me a longer time, so I just copied and pasted.
Fair enough.
But you would use a menu, of course.
Yeah. I'd probably use 4 vertical menus for each of those. I think that would be a great option to do that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. I actually have I think one of my footer templates does that. So anyone who wants that sort of layout for a footer, check out the footer template.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
this was awesome. You did such an amazing job. Now, some feedback. Okay. I didn't want to stop on every little possible thing. One thing though, you use utility classes a lot, which is awesome. Okay. But for certain things, like go to that one layout that they repeat a lot. Okay. So like that top layout there, right? I remember like on the cards, those 6 that are going down the side, right? You used a lot of utility classes to do the spacing for that, right?
Yeah.
Now, they use this particular layout multiple times throughout the entire, they use that layout multiple times throughout the entire site, right? And let's say you wanted to go from maybe 24 pixels. I don't remember the exact amount you had. Doesn't matter. Let's say you were like, you know what? I had 24. I want it to be 32 now, or 16, right? What happened is, because you use utility classes, you'd have to go to every single one on every single instance of that layout, right?
Right.
So while utility classes are great, especially if you're playing around right now and you're not sure what layout you want, because you can just quickly change those utility classes.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe for that particular instance, once you kind of have the layout nailed, what you do is you create a swatch, right? That then that way in the future, if you ever wanted to leverage that layout somewhere else, or you want to be able to change that layout a little bit, like tweak those settings, you can do that in one place inside the swatch, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You can
So
change the one, and everything would change at the same time.
exactly, and then all the layouts, all four of those layouts on your entire page would change, right?
Yeah.
So while
I do think about that when I'm using utility classes. I do think about, like, if I'm gonna repeat this instance over and over, I usually go back and change it.
Yeah.
To a
Yep.
swap.
Exactly. Perfect. Yeah. I think that was the only thing that I think utility classes are great. And I say that I have a video on utility classes, everyone, and I actually have a video on the pros and cons of utility classes. Right? They're really great. They're especially, as you saw, Elizabeth was kind of playing around with the classes. She's like, I want a little bit bigger, a little bit less. Right? Utility classes are awesome for that, and they're great for like one-off little things too. But again, if you're going to use, really have a layout that you want to use in several places, try to swatch it out, right? Swatch it out. I will have to use that term. Swatch it out.
Brilliant.
So cool. Actually, I had one question that Commander Jody Joy had a question for you, and she said, "What are your thoughts about recreating this website in Foundation 6 opposed to Foundation 1?"
Oh, to me, it's a huge difference. I mean, I loved Foundation 1, don't get me wrong, but it's just Foundation 6 is that exact same thing that we were talking about, the classes. That's what makes the whole difference. Like, and the versatility, like how quickly you can just add a padding with, if you start using the utility classes a lot, you'll memorize some of them, like I did. I didn't memorize them all yet, but I have some in my head, and I'm like, oh, it just makes it so much easier than to go on each stack and try and change, like, where was the padding, and there it is, and then change the padding to top. I don't know. To me, it's just easier to type things out, and then, like, I think it's wonderful to have. For example, I don't know if you saw the remake of the Apple website, but you have a column that was not a column, a container that was white with black text and pictures, and then I would copy the exact same container to the next section, and just remove the classes, and that would make it. Sorry, if it was black with white text, I would remove the classes, and then it was white with black text, just with a removing the classes. So it was just so much faster to work with, and I'm a big Foundation 6 fan.
Awesome, thank you. Well, everyone says we need to do these videos a lot more. So everyone absolutely thought it was stellar, and I have to give props to Elizabeth. This was her idea. She came up to me and proposed this idea. She is a genius, and thank you very much, Elizabeth, for coming on today. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully, you learned a little bit too.
Yeah,
and thought it was great. Thank you very much, everybody. Cool. Take care, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. It was nice seeing you, seeing your comments.
Cheers. Bye, Elizabeth. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, that was cool. I got to stand up for this. That was awesome, right? So, really, really cool stuff. We'll definitely try to do a little bit more of these. And, as always, try to come back. Oh, someone rang the doorbell. Now my dogs are going to go nuts. Okay, so Fridays, we have Hangouts. Check us out on Friday. We're going to have a lot of really cool stuff. Actually, I've been working on it. I know a lot of people were talking about Total CMS a little bit. They'd like to see this Total CMSified a little bit. Oh, maybe we can do that in the future. But I'm working on a really cool Total CMS update. We're adding some really cool new features that people have been begging me for to kind of transition us over to Total CMS 2 a little bit. So if you want to join this Friday, you probably get a little sneak peek. I actually have a couple beta testers on it already. So hopefully we'll see you on the Hangouts this basically 20 minutes from right now on Friday. Okay. On our Hangout URL, go to the Weaver Space, go to weaverspace/events, or there's links on the homepage as well. And you'll get access to the Hangout URLs. We just hang out on Zoom. We have a bunch of fun. They are not recorded. So yeah, come join us. Have a lot of fun. We'll see you on Friday. And if you haven't checked out Elizabeth's amazing work on our Instagram account, you gotta check that out. She has been killing it on Instagram. So make sure you check out Weavers or Instagram.com/Weaverspace. A lot of really great tips and tricks. It's just not promotional videos. There is a lot. It's a great learning resource. So make sure you're checking that out. Promote it. Follow the accounts. And yeah, repost all that stuff because it's so awesome. Share it with every web designer you have. I really would really appreciate that. And as always, I know a lot of you are on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. I don't think I really asked that very often, but yeah, subscribe. That'd be awesome. Just don't watch us live. Subscribe. Let me know. Let YouTube know that you like us. Hit that like button. They say like pound the like button or whatever they say on the other YouTube channels. Anyway, cool. Well, anyway, I'll let you guys go. Take care, everyone. Hopefully, we'll see you on Friday. If not, we'll see you next week on next week's live stream.